And we're here, episode 45. If you could tell, remote right now. If you're watching on YouTube or Patreon or wherever you catch our podcast. Justin's out this week. He's out from Japan building a life-size Gundam. They called him for a special project in Japan this week, so he's gone. Episode 45, you got me here, Josh Pease, BlkPrint. You got my guy Mark here, live from Miami, soon to be Los Angeles. How's that coming along, actually? We haven't really got an update on your whole job or your apartment hunt.
We didn't? I thought we did. I thought the last time we talked about it, there was an invite to Halloween Horror Nights, and I was like, I'm gonna pass on the scary stuff. But there was another invite provided. I think I might. October is looking like a time that I could be in LA, just to enjoy a lot of the things. Not necessarily enjoy a lot of the things. I'm kind of here for business. Technically, I am kind of here for business with a small amount of pleasure, hopefully. But October is looking like the time that not only am I going to take a look at some spots, hopefully a new home. I guess I'll succumb to being at Halloween Horror Nights. I just need a partner to make sure that I don't get a little bit too scared. I'll just say that.
Justin has an excellent partner for you. I know exactly who we can have be your chaperone. I know she'll be excited to see you. And if not her, then we can go find someone at Cafe Lou.
A Cafe Lou part? Actually, you know what? But then again, one person that would have been my partner already went. So I don't want to be like late. I don't want to be like late to the party.
Yeah, I mean, if you already went to Halloween Horror Nights and it's September 18th, you have an issue. I'm sorry. There's no reason to go the first part of September. The latter part I get this week. If you're going this week and next week, I'm like, all right, I kind of give you some leeway. But if you went September 5th, you're tripping.
So you're not like one of those. You're not like the horror fan that's gonna go multiple times throughout the month. One time and you're good.
Nah, man, you never been before, huh?
Never. I don't do the scary shit. I truly do not do the scary. Not only do I not do the scary shit, I don't do rides like that. Like if we were to go to Six Flags, if we were to go to like the State Fair, I know y'all have invited me to the OC Fair before.
Yeah.
I'm not a rides guy. The most you're gonna get me on is a Ferris wheel. If it drops, if anything that drops, I'm good on. Anything that drops, I'm good on.
All the Halloween stuff is mostly just walking around in mazes, so you don't have to worry about rides too much. But to that point of walking around, hour and a half in, you're gonna be like, why did I do this again? Like, it's just a lot of walking, a lot of waiting. It can get a little tiresome fast. At the end of the trip, every time I'm like leaving, I'm always like, I'm not gonna do this for another 2 years.
So usually you're like, so usually it's kind of like for the people that are like, I don't want to necessarily pile drive the Disney adults, but Disney adults will definitely do well here on Halloween Horror Nights, I guess you would say.
Yeah, I mean, if you're just used to the waiting and you like that and you know that's just your thing and you like to be at amusement parks, great. Like Justin, that's his thing. He likes it. Like I could tell it's a whole thing for him. For me, I need the fast pass. I'll drop the extra 75 or whatever it is for the fast pass.
Skip lines and all that,
man. Because even when you skip the line, that's not even. It's like a fast pass, but it's like 200 other people who skip the line too. So you still gotta wait a little bit. It's just a lot, man. Like that's why going in groups is good though, because in line you can play games, like people are playing charades and shit. So it's cool.
I'm gonna prepare myself for Halloween Horror Nights, a series that we've talked about a million of the things that I have never watched before. I think one thing that I could use to prepare for this, I'm gonna watch more of the Friday the 13th series and try and prepare for Halloween Horror Nights.
You haven't seen any of them?
I've seen part one. I've seen the first one, the very, very first one. I haven't seen 2 through, what is it, 7? Like 7 or 8. There's the spinoffs. I can't do all of them.
There's one with like Busta Rhymes and LL Cool J. You haven't seen those yet?
Nah, I haven't seen any of those.
Oh man, I mean, you're not missing out. I'm not the biggest horror movie fan, and I feel like those franchises do get cheesy at some point. But there's a few that I do enjoy horror movies. I like the new Scream that just actually came out. That was pretty good. I saw that in theaters.
The one in New York City, right? That actually is that able to buy yet? It has to be able to buy right now.
Oh, right? It has to be. Yeah, it's easily. It might be just up for streaming on like fucking HBO or something at this point.
Okay, I might tap into that. That actually might get me right, because for the fall right now, I'm just kind of calm. I'm not I'm not jumping into all the pumpkin spice shit. Target is not enticing me into all the September and October deals. I'm kind of calm. Fall is just a little bit of a relaxing time for me, but some people like really, really can't wait for this season. And I'm just like, I'm kind of relaxed.
Yeah, fall is funny. Like there's definitely a certain type of person that just loves the fall. I think about my mom. Like when you mentioned pumpkin spice, like my mom is probably already decorating. She decorates her house for all the holidays. So she does Halloween, then she does Thanksgiving, then she does Christmas, and like I'm pretty sure her shit looks like a nice haunted house. Like it's spiders and fucking cobwebs and shit. But yeah, man, no, it's exciting, man. This is actually my favorite time of year just because like you get to wear all these fits that you haven't been able to wear throughout the year. Like I feel like before the fall, you're dressing more for like, I guess they call it function, where it's just like, I need a t-shirt because it's hot. Yeah. But now it's like, I can layer up, and I bought a bunch of shit when I went to Japan that I can now finally wear, like fucking denim suits and shit like that. So I'm excited for the fall, man. I think it's going to be a good fall for the BlkPrint.
Are the boots coming back?
Oh, the new boots coming back. I guess it's funny. The boots are definitely coming back. I just posted the other day that I hope you guys aren't tired of these boots. I put in my close friends. I'm tired of these because I'm about to bring these back out. Yeah. And then I just have a few pair of boots that I just never get to wear. And I've bought and wore like once or twice. I'm just like, I need to start wearing this shit more. I just bought this whole like leather outfit the other day. I'm like on some shit right now. I'm gonna be looking like Blade.
A leather fit? Is that your Halloween Horror Nights fit?
Nah. This is like my I don't know. I gotta wear this to a nice event. somewhere offset set so we could beef.
Hey, I've seen the Offset set. We talked about episode 44. We talked about the denim tears. He had I saw the cotton reefs. You actually told me about the cotton reefs. I saw the cotton reef, but he had an orange type one. He kind of like dressed it up. I don't know if that was the fall flavor of the denim tears.
We'll get to that. We're gonna get to that later in the episode. The whole Offset segment. Shout out to him. He's been having the greatest week ever. Album comes out this week. So yeah, I'm excited for him, but we'll get to that. Man, Amp last week. We had Cam on, our guy Cam. Yep. Had a great episode, honestly. Cam is like a long time. He's like BlkPrint family. I'm kind of disappointed he's not on the show more often. But yeah, man, we dove into like just sports and just like the NFL season starting and just his career, what he's been able to do. I hadn't even realized really that he's like the sole man of the ship over there at Complex Sports. He's been crushing it.
Cam had an amazing viral moment last week with Sexy Red. Made sure that she was at MetLife Stadium. She had her first, I don't know if it was her first NFL game, period. I wouldn't assume so, but very good time for Sexy Red out in week 1 of the NFL. Now we are in week 2. I do want a little bit of a comment. I don't know if you, I don't know. I don't want to rustle any feathers here.
What's up, man?
So
I got my jersey on. I'm ready for it.
Oh, okay. Hey, I'm just putting my Drewski hands up. I just saw a video. I just want your comment. SoFi Stadium filled with red 49ers jerseys. I don't know how it happened. No, is that traditional? Is that usual?
Yeah, honestly, it's like since the beginning, since the Rams have come to Los Angeles, whenever you have these games against these teams with big fan bases, there are always more than there are Rams fans there. I think it's just a testament to just like LA not having a team so long and we having so many transplants. I remember when we were at the Coliseum before, like I would go to games and like we played Philly and there was a bunch of Philly fans there. We played the Vikings and there's a bunch of Vikings fans there. So that's just LA for you. I feel like it might be similar. I mean, I don't know if it's similar in other places because they've had teams for longer periods of time, but that's just an LA thing. I expected it. That was the reason why I didn't go to the game. They drove the prices up so crazy. Like the cheapest ticket was like $4.89. So it was like they priced me out. I'm sorry, I ain't had to. Damn, we got our sign up for us today, but no boss ticket discount. No boss ticket discount this week. But yeah, I wasn't even surprised. I expected it. And I just knew like this season has kind of been like this is a wonky season for us. This is like a rebuild almost. Like we don't have Cooper Kupp at the beginning of the season. There's been a lot of questions around our running back core. But we've been answering those questions. I think, our rookies are stepping up. Shout out to Puka. He broke the record for rookie wide receivers, like had the most receptions between the first 2 games. I believe he had the most yards too ever. So that's very promising. Stafford is Stafford. He's just a magician with the ball. So I love seeing him play. I love how he played. We weren't even supposed to be in this game. San Francisco was supposed to come out and just like railroad us, and we kept it competitive. This game had me even more excited for the season. I think when Cooper Kupp comes back, it's going to be a good 1-2 punch at the receiving side. Williams, the running back, is fire. Cam Akers is out of here. Hopefully we get a good trade for him because he's done for. He's done in LA. I'm not mad. I think this is going to be one of those seasons where we're going to prove people wrong. We're going to defy the expectations. So I'm excited to see.
I'm always interested in seeing how people treat the first 2 weeks of the season. Gradually, I think it's no secret that I'm not the hugest NFL guy, but I still do like seeing what people's reactions are to a 1-1 start, a 2-0 start. People are lighting fireworks on the timeline. An 0-2 start. I've got a boy who's a Giants fan. Shout out to Rich. He was like, if we go 0-2, the season's over. I'm like, the season weren't you just excited that football just started? 0-2, then the season's over, but then the Giants came back and now they're 1-1, and he's completely elated. So I guess seeing the reactions of how people take a lot of these wins and losses very early is something that's the most interesting.
He shouldn't be too happy because Saquon went down, just looked and saw he's out for 3 games. So that's a bummer. Saquon is one of the ones, man, I think just what he brings to that team and the versatility that he has where he can like run the ball and catch the ball is something they need to win. So they could easily lose these next 3 games. So we'll see. But no, to answer your question, the NFL season's shorter than the NBA season. It's the shortest season around. So it's like every game counts. And momentum is a lot. So starting the season 0-2, it's a tough sled, man. It's hard to come back from sometimes, It could be, it could just be something as simple as momentum and not being able to just to get your footing back.
And that's what really sets, I think, the tone of the fall. I can't go on the timeline on Sundays. Sundays, once 1 o'clock hits, just get off the timeline. It's nothing but straight football from 1 until 9. Yeah. Any convo that you're trying to have outside of that, everybody's like, hey, shut the hell up, football's on. And it completely sets the tone. I feel like the world is healing right now through the return of quote-unquote sports, because obviously sports is a 365 thing. I mean, if you're watching MLB, you've been watching sports for a good amount of time. But football just really as much as I don't like to admit it, the alleged alpha sport really does set the tone for everybody once the fall time does make its way by. I still have a little bit of time until the NBA season starts, but
yeah. And honestly, man, you can become a football fan, dude. Miami's looking good. They got a real good squad right now. Tua is looking like an MVP front runner. He's looking really good. You got Tyreek Hill out there. You got Waddle out there. They got a really fun team. And you guys got a good stadium. I've went to a football game at your stadium before. It's fun. I enjoyed it. I went to a COVID game.
Have I been at Hard Rock Stadium before? That's actually a good question. I don't think I have. No, I drive past it millions of times. But what do you like about Hard Rock Stadium? Because you were the one that actually told me when we went to WrestleMania, we went to it in Cowboy Stadium, you were like, it's cool, but it's not no SoFi. When we went there, I was like, I wasn't necessarily not impressed. Obviously, the Cowboy Stadium is a huge stadium, but it felt a little bit hollow. I don't know if that's the right adjective, but it felt a little bit hollow compared to SoFi, which the acoustics, I guess you would say, of SoFi rang out so crazy, especially in a WrestleMania. I was like, yeah, it's really a night and day difference compared to what Dallas had and what LA had.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I got a little bit of soul. I feel like the Dallas Stadium don't really have like a lot of soul in it. And it's just, like we went for a wrestling event, so it was cracking. There's people everywhere. But it's something about it's the acoustics, I think. SoFi feels good. It has a bunch of good restaurants in there. It feels luxe, but it still has this like NFL hard-nosed feeling to it. I don't know. I enjoy it. I love SoFi. Like I love just going there. Sometimes I walk around, go to different floors. Hard Rock is cool just because like open air stadium, which I like. That's like the classic football feel. I don't know. It has a good like vibe. Like I think the fans it has a good fandom too. That's another thing. Like that's why I can't give the complete rating for Dallas Stadium just because I haven't been there for a Dallas game. I'm pretty sure it's night and day difference.
Yeah.
But but yeah, nah. So far, this is above all, man. I think it just has everything you need in a stadium. I think the the part that it lacks is just the location. Born and bred in Inglewood, I love the city, but
Mm.
coming from Los Angeles, the mid city area, or Hollywood, or wherever you stay in the city, it's at least 30 to 45 minutes, at least. Like no
At
one
least,
lives in Inglewood at this point. Like
at least like wait time, or just like you mean in general, like driving up
just
to it.
driving up to there. I mean, and then they still got to figure out just like parking and all that shit. Like I talked to some people who went for the Beyonce concert, and they were like, "Yeah, it was a mess." So I can't even, like when I go for the Rams games, I know my way around the city, so I can kind of take some back streets and figure it out. And I'm
Yeah.
all for driving in the bus lanes. Like I always see like bus lane, I'm just like, oh, I'm here. So yeah, but it needs to figure out the parking situation. Like, and they just been steadily raising the price every season. Like I think when it first opened, it was like 65. Then I think it went to 75. Then it went to like 80. Now I think I heard for Beyonce they're charging like 100 or something to park, and I'm just like, oh, this is crazy.
That's so OD.
Yeah.
So they don't do the forum thing frequently, because Mania they were like, yeah, you got the parking at SoFi, but they got extra parking at the forum, and that's where he parked.
Yeah, they do that all day, so you can do that. Yeah, you can figure that out. But I like to be as close to the stadium as I can. I don't like to walk.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just park like right on the SoFi grounds.
That was one arena that I feel like still holds a little bit of magic for me. Like when I see, I mean, no pun intended, obviously. Jesus Christ, that was a terrible pun. Not fully not intended. When I seen the forum, first time we came, when we did the RNC barbecue, and we came out there in 2019, that was my first time in LA. And when we were flying by, I saw the mountains and things like that. And I saw like, a little bit of haziness. And I was like, damn, okay, this is Los Angeles. This is pretty cool. It didn't really strike me until I flew by and I seen the forum. And I was like, holy shit. And I think at the time, like 2019, I can't remember if SoFi was like being fine. I'm pretty sure SoFi was around.
It might have been being built, or it might have just opened maybe.
Yeah, exactly.
In the years.
Yeah, I think it was around like those building stages at the time, but seeing the forum, I was like, holy shit, that is the fucking forum. That is an arena that still holds a lot to me. I would assume that still holds a good amount. I mean, the name has been changed a good amount of times for Hard Rock Stadium, but I would assume that still holds a good amount of weight for a lot of people that are out in South Florida, because I think Florida in general, to South Florida specifically, and North Florida too. I won't discredit North Florida in this case too. I think the state in general is a huge football town, as much as now things are really popping off with MLS. Obviously Messi is here now and things are amazing.
That's like in Fort Lauderdale too, right?
Yeah, so MLS. The stadium that they have now is like it's a dry pink stadium, but it used to be like I can't remember who used to play there. It was like a college that used to play. It was like a college that used to play there, and they used to run igloos out there. Igloo was like this big, Caribbean event that we would have, a West Indian event that we would have out there, and around the time that they started announcing a lot of this, and David Beckham started saying, okay, we're coming through, this is going to be the name of the team, and so on and so forth. They had the arena planned, but then I think that was all the way out in Kendall, and they're not going to have that arena set for, I don't even know, probably another good couple of years. So they are playing out in Fort Lauderdale at the old arena before they end up making their way and having the huge arena literally in the middle of Miami. And there are people similar to Inglewood as well. They're just like, hey, we're building this huge arena literally in the middle of the city. This is going to be a crazy amount of traffic, and it's going to change the city just in general, that not all the locals are really welcome toward, but obviously it's going to be huge once Inter Miami continues to stride and make their successes. But in general, South Florida is just a huge football town, man. Even with basketball being the way that it is, and obviously Miami is still doing well for what they have. Soccer still doing well. The Marlins, there's still good things that are going on with the Marlins. Yeah. They have a brand new stadium, but you'll never really change the fact that it is a football town. So right now, Publix is jumping each and every Sunday. I'm sure if I go to Publix, it's filled with teal and orange. So that's just the way that it's set out here. Yeah,
no, it's funny. I went to a bar on Sunday to watch the games, and there was like a woman there with like a Dan Marino jersey, and I'm like, oh shit, okay, like it's still there's still this fandom there, and it's spread, it's everywhere. Funny enough, at the bar this weekend, I walked in. And this bar is cracking. It's like, this is my second time there. First time I went was for like this USC event. And that was like a Saturday night. So I'm like, oh shit, okay, this is a cool little vibe. Saturday night, girls is looking nice. I'm like, okay, I like this spot. I got way too hammered that night. This was like last weekend actually. I got hammered. I have not been this drunk in a long time.
Yeah, but I say you're not really I haven't really heard too many stories from you drinking at that capacity.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of stopped drinking. It's funny. Last month I didn't drink at all. I haven't smoked since March. I've been on this like sober journey a little bit, just figuring things out, playing with some different combinations.
Yeah, exactly. Combinations.
But on that Saturday, I went to this UFC fight, got hammered, had a great time though. And I was like, oh, I really like this bar. Cool little vibe. The food was good. The girls was cool again. Pouring the drinks heavy, obviously. So I was like, I'm gonna come back for a football Sunday. Went back went Sunday that just passed. Met up with my brother, a couple friends. As soon as I walk into the bar, at the bar is Kean Johnson. I'm like, oh shit, this is so random as hell. Like, and it's funny, Keyshawn's from LA, so like I've seen him around before, but then also it's Kean Johnson. This is pretty much a Hall of Fame wide receiver, just at the bar. Like, it's not like he's at a table or anything. He's like at the bar. So I walked in and like I actually kind of have a relationship with him. My mom's ex-husband used to know him, so like he would call my house sometimes. So like, because my mom's ex-husband worked for the DMV, so he would help him with like tickets and things like that. So like when he would call my house in the morning, he had such a distinctive voice. I'd be like, oh, this is Kean Johnson. So when I saw him, I said, what's up? Gave him a little fist pound. He was at the bar from 10 a.m. to the evening games, mind you, just at the bar chilling. So afternoon games were to roll around, 1 p.m. games here at least, and Dallas is playing the Jets. Lo and behold, guess who walks in? Michael fucking Irvin. Yo, you understand? He walks into the bar and people start clapping. It was like a standing ovation. It was like cheers or some shit.
Somebody flooded him and was like, "Oh my god, Michael fucking Irvin! Jesus Christ!"
Shit was crazy. No, people didn't like surround him. It was like people were respectable.
Yeah.
But it was just crazy to see this. Like, if Keyshawn's a possible Hall of Famer, this is a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
He came with his whole suit on. I think he was doing like NFL Sunday somewhere. I think he was because they have that office in LA somewhere.
Oh, he was fresh off the set?
Man, he had to be. He came in a full suit. I hope he's not wearing a full suit on a Sunday, or unless he came from off the set or from church. I don't know. One or the other. Had the full suit on, nice haircut. Went to the bar, sat with Keyshawn. He's giving high fives and shit. So they watched the Cowboys Jets game. And there was a Jets fan sitting right next to Keyshawn. So, like, he's just going in, man. He's screaming when they score. He's grabbing drinks. He's toasting up every time there's a good play. It was an amazing experience. I was like, oh, this is my new bar. I found my place on Sundays. Yeah. I'm looking forward to pulling up there again on Sunday. That shit was just great, man. It was great to just, like you said, man, like the alpha sport is back. And you don't get this feeling from any other sport. Maybe basketball during the playoffs, you might get a similar feeling, but even that, it's like, it's just not as just consistent and just visceral, I'll say. Like, football fans are football fans through and through. Like, I remember, they have every game on in the bar. So it's like 17 TVs in this bar, and like there's games on different TVs. And the Seahawks were playing the Detroit Lions. And there was like some Seahawks, like again, Los Angeles, everyone's not a Rams fan. It was like Seahawks fans in the corner. Seahawks had a big play. They scored. Someone started doing the Seahawks chant. S-E-A. I'm like, damn, this shit's crazy. Screaming it in the bar. And people are like responding. So like, it's just, you don't get that with any other sport. Like, LA is a Laker town. So we all watching Lakers together. And that's a great feeling. But I like the idea of just everyone having opposing teams. I mentioned someone had on a Dan Marino jersey. A couple 49er fans was in there last night or yesterday. It was just cool, man. It was a good vibe. I was with some 49er fans. And that's another thing. That's to answer your question about just the sea of red. LA in the 90s was like a 49ers town. It was like you were a Niners fan or you're a Raiders fan.
Oh, okay. And
there's a lot of Niners fans. The Jerry Rice, Steve Young era. Like, they won some championships. Yeah. They had Deion at one point. Like, you had no choice but to be a fan of those guys. I think at one point my dad was even a 49ers fan. So yeah, I respect it. I respect all NFL fans, man. We're like a community that just comes together in this time of year. And we just, do the swag surf.
Sometimes I think about what it is that could make it like that from an NBA perspective. I truthfully think that you're just not going to get that where one league has like 80 games plus a playoffs, where the playoffs is best of 4, and that pretty much guarantees that no matter what happens, outside of a few outliers, like a small percentage of outliers, the better team is going to win. But most likely, from an NFL perspective, it's 16 games. Anything could fucking happen. Playoffs, 1 game. Somebody could throw a 90-yard bomb from the trashiest team, and somebody just catches it with both hands. It's a touchdown, and then the better team is now eliminated because of your 1-game scenario. I just don't think that that's going to happen from an NBA side. But in general, just like how you described, those Sundays, unless you're really tapped into like a basketball-centric bar or lounge or anything of that nature, you kind of don't see it. And especially at this time of like October, November, until the NFL season starts ending, and then people are like, all right, it's All-Star Weekend. Let's tap into NBA All-Star Weekend and see what's going on there. And then you get the fans coming in for the second half of the season. So it's a little bit, it's a much different experience, I will say, even from a basketball perspective. But even from your traditional NFL football, something that I don't tap into a lot at all is college anything. College basketball is really, really hard to tap into because a lot of people are just like, oh, you guys are missing the best experience in the world. It's true grit, true real basketball. And then I'm just watching a lot of 18-year-old, 19-year-old kids just bomb up 30-footers and fuck up the pass. And I'm just like, I really can't jump into it. Even during March Madness, I'm just like, I just can't jump into this, guys. I'll let you guys have it. I'll tap in from time to time. And obviously it was a big year for Florida Atlantic. My alma mater, they ended up going to the Final Four? March Madness, I believe.
They did go to the Final Four this year. They sure did.
Yeah, so it was big time. It was a big time in Boca. I was like, man, I might need to step out to Delray from time to time and see what's going on if they actually make the NCAA championship. They didn't, but it was still a huge, huge moment for college basketball in general for Florida Atlantic. But college football, I feel like this year is really loud from a lot of the fans that do tap in and tune in and cheer for their teams. I think for the most part, my timeline has a good amount of college football fans, and they usually make sure that they rep for their alma mater as well. But this fucking phenomenon of what is going on in Colorado, I need a little bit of an explanation because the only part that I know about it is primetime Deion Sanders, just off being a legend in the NFL from the times that I actually did tap into the NFL, and a little bit, I know a small amount of what had happened through his departure at Jackson State. But this 3-0 right now is literally tearing timelines apart on how I should feel and how I should react to this. Yeah, how do you feel about it?
It's Coach Prime, man. I think he is the greatest thing to happen to this sport in the last 20 years. Like, it hasn't been something that's been just this impactful to the entire sport in a long fucking time. And to your point, like, I'm not the biggest college football fan. I don't watch a lot of college sports either for the same reasons you don't. The same way you feel about college basketball is how I feel about college football. It's like there's only a few good teams. And honestly, you should probably be a college football fan because Florida is dominant. You got like Florida State, Miami. There's so many good Florida teams.
That beef is completely different. That beef is literally bloodworthy. Like, I've seen Miami fans ready to fight Florida fans, Florida State fans ready to jump into the mix, UCF fans say, oh, well, we should be the real national champions, and then everybody else is laughing at UCF. I've seen it get really bad from a Florida football perspective.
It's a lot of good teams out there. And funny enough, when I was younger, I was a big Florida State fan because Deion Sanders went there. And I just loved Deion. Like, he was just always one of my favorite players. And that translated from his college career to his NFL career and his MLB career and just his life. He's larger than life. He had a rap song. So like Deion is just one of these figures that, anything he does is just going to bring attention. As you mentioned, he was at Jackson State last year. Took them to a HBCU bowl. I forget what it's called. It might be SWAC bowl or something like that. And he's bringing that same energy to Colorado, which was a team that I think they won 1 game last season. So just to see how good they are this season, to see the odds they're against this season, and just see the swagger he's brought to that whole state. It's not even just the city. It's not just the team. It's the whole state. And they play Colorado State this week. that was a big game because it's the Rocky Mountain rivalry. So that's always been a big game for both teams. And the week leading up to the game, the Colorado State coach had a lot to say about Deion and just what he brings to the game. He's like, I would never do press conferences and wear my sunglasses and hat. Like my mom taught me better. I'll be a little more respectable. And Deion, as he said, he took that personal. and that's one thing I love about Deion, and that's why he works so well in college football. He is a master orator. He is a motivational speaker. And that's what you need as a college football coach. That's all. I think the game planning and the actual football knowledge, I won't say it's secondary, but it gets eclipsed by just the personality of the football coach. And I think he has a personality down pat. He has a great social media team. So everything he says and does has been all over social media. And his pregame speeches, his practice speeches will live on far beyond this football season. Leading into his game, he said he took it personal. He rallied his team, and it was a great game. Honestly, the game was a lot closer than a lot of people thought it was going to be. Colorado, I think, were the favorite to blow this team out, and throughout the game, it was close. It was close. Colorado State was playing really good, playing dirty to some degree. A lot of late hits. I think they had 10 personal fouls, which is kind of crazy in a college football game. It went to overtime. Deion's son is the quarterback. Also, my Heisman favorite. I put money on it. Looking forward to this. And he put the team on his back. He said in his post game with his AP and his Cuban, his diamond Cuban on.
Oh, he was the one flexing to watch?
Yes. That's Deion's youngest son, I believe. His name is Shooter. He said he went Brady mode. And he literally put the team on his back, and this shit was amazing. Like he literally, their star wide receiver got injured. He's out for 4 weeks. He got hit on a late hit, and he had like a lacerated. I think he broke a rib, and then they said he had a lacerated liver, which is crazy to read.
What the hell? God damn.
Yeah, he's out for 4 weeks. But this kid Sanders, man, he's throwing bombs, dropping dimes. He's really a team leader. Looking forward to just his draft ranking and just where he goes. I can see him being the number one quarterback in the next draft. But yeah, man, they came back and won the game in overtime. In LA, I think the game ended around might have been 9:30, 10. Like people watch this game till 1:00 on the East Coast, and like people were tuned in for a Colorado State game. Like this is unheard of. So shout out to Coach Prime, man. I love what he's bringing to the game. I think it's bringing a new energy, especially just amongst the Black community. Like if you look at the sideline in the game, it's like someone said, or the announcer said, it looked like the BET Awards. And that's probably
somebody Black said that. I hope it was somebody Black that said that. Okay, thank God.
He was actually getting off too, man, because he said. He said it looked like the BET Awards. He made there was a penalty there was 2 penalties on the play. He said an offset. And then they panned the camera, the offset on the sideline when he said that.
So stupid.
It was just a lot of energy around the game, and like you gotta understand, it's college, so they got a pep rally at 7 a.m. 7 a.m. pep rally. Lil Wayne is performing, getting gifted a Lil Wayne Colorado jersey by Coach Prime at the pep rally. You got Offset there, you got Key Glock there, you got Master P there, Cameron. It's just so many different people of the culture just at the games just to experience this. And in college is a little more lax. So you got these celebrities on the field, on the sideline. Like you couldn't miss. You mentioned Offset and the cotton reefs, so the orange or the yellow. You couldn't miss him on the field during the game. You could see him just on the sideline if you looked at the field. So it's dope, man. I love the energy he's bringing. It's exciting, man. I think we needed this. The sport needed this. And, I hopefully he has continued success. I also have a bet in for them to win the Pac-12. So hopefully he keeps winning. But we'll see. Next week they got Oregon. Week after that they got USC. I plan on going to that game. It's going to be in Boulder. So,
you're going?
Yeah, I'm looking.
It's in Boulder. Oh,
yeah, it's in Boulder. Yeah, okay. It's in Boulder. I want to go to Boulder. If you know me, if you've ever heard me speak about my retirement plan and just my aspirations in life, I love the city of Boulder. I had some people on my Instagram hit me up today like, yo, you always show Colorado so much love. And like, I do, just because like when I went there on tour, that was like when I went on my first tour, that was just one of the first seasons I fell in love with. I had a great time. We went out there with Mac Miller, had a great time when I went back, made some good connections and just lifelong friendships with people out there. So yeah, man, I'm a Boulder fan. I was there before Coach Prime. Hopefully they recognize me and bring me on the field. But yeah, I'm planning on going to Boulder for the USC game, and I'll definitely be in black and gold.
Are you gonna have any? Are you gonna have? Did you ever tell the story of what happens the last time that you were around some Nuggets fans?
Oh no, I didn't tell that story. Shout out to the Nuggets, man. I went out there. Y'all whooped our ass. So I can't.
No, shout out to the Nuggets.
I can't even be mad, man, because I went out there thinking the Lakers was gonna get this W, and y'all showed me out. But y'all know, y'all ain't got 17 of these, so it is what it is.
I am a little bit upset because now the video's probably like almost at 3 million views by now, probably like 2-3 million views by now. The first time that we have seen this man in the past couple of months is him showing up to a damn Colorado game. Rock, I'm pretty fucking upset with you. If there's some way that you have heard this in any form of manner, just know that I am one of your biggest fucking fans, and I am pretty damn upset with you, because I would have loved if that moment of an arena completely ringing out was out in SoFi Stadium and you chose Colorado. And as a Heat fan, I know you are a Heat fan, Rock. You're choosing the Nuggets over the Heat. I'm pretty fucking upset about that.
Well, I won't say all that. Didn't you pop out at a WWE event recently? No?
This was it. It was this week. He was in Colorado he was in Colorado for the game. It was like, let me pop up to, I forgot what, I don't know. Were they in the Nuggets arena for Friday Night SmackDown? I can't remember if that was the Nuggets arena, but he showed up and it was a huge event. He said it was a top 5 pop in his entire damn career. And I can agree with that. Colorado was fucking loud for that return because people are so excited to see him, but I'm just upset because he chose Colorado, Rock. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to forgive you.
Okay, see, I don't know. I thought I forgot. I mean, not forgot. I heard about the WWE thing. I thought you were talking about just him being in the locker room.
Oh, nah.
He was just in the locker room, just behind Coach Prime, just giving ad libs. Like, it was actually amazing. I was like, damn, The Rock is here. Yeah, shout out to him for coming back. Is he gonna wrestle again? Like, I'm gonna pop up to it. If he wrestles, I'm there.
I would assume. Well, here's the thing. Right now, a lot of wrestling Twitter is trying to like. Now that WWE has finalized their deal with Endeavor last week, that is now in the books as far as stock market wise. So now the WWE and the UFC are now one big happy family compared to how it was 30 years ago. Huge moment for just sports entertainment, combat fighting in general. Now that's all under one umbrella. He comes out Friday, huge thing. And now people are wondering, okay, Rock looks pretty healthy, looks in good condition. Although he was a little bit winded, I must say, a little bit winded on the promo, a little bit winded on the movement. Those can get fixed by the time that April comes, because WrestleMania 40 is going to be out in Philadelphia in April. So now people are trying to book, when is Rock coming back? I think it's a little bit too early to have Rock in Saudi Arabia. They're about to be in Saudi Arabia in November for one of their pay-per-views that are coming up. The Royal Rumble is in Tampa. It's a good chance that he could show up to Tampa. I'm not 100% positive. They're going to announce this week that there is a show that is going to be like a huge show that's going to be in Australia that is planned for like February or so. I don't know if he shows up in Australia for February, but then you have WrestleMania 40 in April, which a lot of fans are like, he's going to wrestle Roman Reigns. And it's not, it's a little bit early for that just now, but who knows? If he decides to hop into a ring, like I would have loved for him to do within the past 2 years, we could possibly see it.
He's 50 years old, so I don't see him wrestling. I see him doing what Stone Cold did last year or the year before. Come out, give a stunner, give a rock bottom, and bounce. Would love to see it, though. Childhood dream immortalized. So I'm going to tap in. It's funny, I forgot about the merger. I might have to buy some stock, man. I've been in my stock bag lately. Been watching Amazon stock just skyrocket, loving it. But I just saw Dumb Money, and I think we're going to talk about that in the Patreon episode later. That's the movie about the GameStop stock.
There's a whole movie about that?
Yeah, it's really fucking good. Pete Davidson is in it. Will Ferrell is in it. Or is it Will Ferrell? Seth Rogen. I'm sorry. I always get those two confused. It's a good movie. Well, I'll get my review later on. Wish J5 was here. I'm sure he would have seen it by now. But but yeah, we missed out, man. We saw this GameStop shit happen, and we didn't throw a little 50, a little 100 in there. We crazy. We should have did it.
I'm sitting on this bullshit AMC stock from around the time that happened, and truthfully, I know there's a lot of hodl. There's a lot of hodl that's out there and saying, "Oh, it's gonna pop up $60, $80." I should have just bought this AMC stock when the shit went up to fucking like 60. When it actually went up to $70, I was up like 700-800. And I should have cashed out then, but I was like, oh, nah, we going all the way to the top. We getting tens of thousands off this. This shit is now fucking $7 now. And I probably lost more than I've actually gained. So I'm pretty upset with that. But who knows? I don't know what can actually change that to make it a $60 price tag. But I think it's over now. So
movie theaters are dead. There's nothing. Like, I go to a movie theater, that shit is never full.
I said I was going to go for Spider-Man. I didn't go for Spider-Man. Barbenheimer did not get me into theaters. It's hard for me to go into theaters.
Honestly, shit's dead. I see a lot of movies. I have an AMC movie pass, and Barbie and Oppenheimer had the movies kind of crowded, but there were still showings. I don't know. Just that experience and mostly people were going have AMC movie pass, so it's like that's cutting down on the ticket price. And then a lot of people aren't buying concessions. Like, concessions are never full, never like packed. So I don't know. I just feel like the movie theater experience is slowly dying. Hollywood has an issue. That's why they're on strike right now, obviously. But yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know about the AMC stock, man. It might be done for. But we're gonna get into stocks later on. I have a whole spiel I want to go on.
A whole spiel on stocks? Okay.
Yeah,
so
man. Make sure if you're a subscriber, make sure you check out the Patreon episode B-sides. A lot to talk about. But back to sports, man. First take. It's a new era. Stephen A. Or Skip, as Shannon refers to him every day.
He was like, damn.
Hey, he might have some type of early onset dementia, CTE. I seen him on his own podcast called Chad Johnson, T.O. So I don't know, man. I don't know if he just got this thing where people just look alike, or I don't get it. But the first take era with Shannon Sharp has started. Not Shannon Sharpie, the Twitter account, who could almost be as big as Shannon Sharp. It's kind of crazy, right?
If it's provided by Elon, which it looks like it is, I'm sure he's making a solid 10, 20K a month off Elon doing this.
Yeah, man. But Shannon Sharp has been on First Take for, what is it, 2 weeks now?
Around 2 weeks. Around 2 weeks, yeah.
2 weeks. Blowing Undisputed out the water. The ratings are literally triple, 3, 4 times what Undisputed is doing. Better vibe too, honestly, man. I think Shannon and Steven just have such a good back and forth. A lot of, and these are debate shows, so they're always gonna have their arguments, but I feel like their arguments feel a little more informative, a little more educational, where I feel like Skip's was just like a bias. I feel like these two are kind of getting facts thrown back and forth between the two. I've enjoyed it, man. I've watched a couple episodes. I've definitely tapped in more than I tapped into Shannon and Skip. I'm excited for this new era. How about you?
I tapped in for the first time on Friday to actually, I was just in general, was like, First Take Friday. Let's see what they're talking about. And lo and behold, they were out in Colorado to talk about the Colorado versus Colorado State game. I learned ESPN is trying to hit niggas in the mouth right now. I did not know that after First Take, they got Pat McAfee right afterwards at noon. I'm like, y'all are hitting niggas strong with a good 1-2 combo. No wonder. I mean, a lot of bad responses that it came from a good amount of the layoffs that came earlier this year and around last year as well, of all the different changes that ESPN was doing to the channel and throughout their hosts and the shows that they were doing. And they do get a little bit of flack from time to time, just knowing that ESPN in general is a revolving door of talent. No matter what you do or who you are specifically on ESPN, not only will they be able to For the most part, outside of like small people, for the most part, they can interchange any other names or talents because they do have a good, strong amount of those in that revolving door in ESPN and pretty much make things work. But as of right now, First Take, the change that they have made, and especially shout out to Stephen A. for singing a lot of Shannon's praises now that this change has happened, giving him the leniency to realize, bro, I know you just came out of a 7-year relationship, bro. It's okay. You can fuck up and call me Skip. Clearly, Skip is down bad. It's not even like we need to ban his damn name from ESPN in general. Just get comfortable. Get right. It felt like a really good show, especially with Molly. Molly's still there. Things are moving well. The guests that they had, very, very excited to be there. Pat McAfee, obviously there early before he ended up starting his noon show and his crew of people that he has towards that. It ends up being very exciting. And I ended up seeing what he said throughout the past week. A lot of people usually chop up the clips from Joe Budden podcast. He said that there's a time, if Shannon does choose to do so, to detail what had happened between him and Skip on Undisputed, and how that was not necessarily a leave as to more of a let go from Fox and Shannon making his way over to ESPN. But Joe was laughing a good amount at something that he considered a shot from Shannon, not from Shannon, from Steven, because Steven ended up posting a little bit of a clip that said, hey, First Take is doing well. Undisputed is having some of its worst numbers. And for the most part, he was just like, I mean, it's not anything to really hide. I'm not looking at it from a beef perspective, but more so of a, hey, we're doing really good right now for what we have. And I think in general, for a lot of people that do watch a lot of these sports debate shows, people are kind of indifferent to Skip and a lot of his opinions and just say, well, that's how he's always going to be. That's how it's XYZ. And at least from my perspective, I try and stay away from it as best as possible. I tapped into Undisputed from time to time just because I love Shannon Sharp a lot. And I liked seeing his perspective on a lot of different things. But seeing the moment where things got disrespectful between Skip and Shannon, I was just like, oh, he's going to leave. Like, this is going to be something that is very easy to decide because this is now becoming to the point where Skip gets into that moment where you have somebody like a Jalen Rose, like you say, yo, you're just wilding a little bit too much for somebody that averaged 2-3 points. Just relax just a little bit.
And that's my thing. Honestly, when Jalen Rose said that about him, I tapped out of Skip completely. I don't think I've ever taken him serious, watched his shit. I will say I love the friendship him and Lil Wayne has. Love the Lil Wayne intro to his show. I think I mentioned that last week or the week before. But but yeah, man, I love what Steven's doing. I think I watched the Joe Budden interview and I like his perspective on everything. He's empowering people and he's using his platform, his personal platform, to put people on, and he's not afraid of anyone else's light. And I think that's a great trait to have in a leader. Someone who is a superstar in their own right, and someone who's going to continue to be who he is. You got to be able to build your lineage and build, and have the branches of your tree spread out. And I think he's doing that right now with Shannon. I think that's a really, really great move. It was interesting to hear what he said about Max. He's just straight up said he doesn't like doing the show with him. And I get that because I think the back and forth with him and Max was feeling like Steven or feeling like Shannon and Skip to a certain degree. Yeah, and it felt like a smarter version of that. I think Max is great at what he does, but I also think he can be very condescending, which is like a bad trait to have in a white man and black man debate show. Like that just rubs the wrong way. But I like Max. I like what he's doing now. He has his own show. One thing I just wanted to point out, though, is I love what ESPN is doing. They're betting on people. They're betting on personalities. Yep. Everyone was a little afraid of what was going to happen with all the layoffs and just all the controversy surrounding all those things. But I think they did the right thing. Pat McAfee has a built-in audience who was listening to him on the radio. So get that on TV and build and bring all that in, it was a win for them. And, he's already, I feel like he's already kind of doing what he's supposed to do. Football season's here. He's got Aaron Rodgers on right off the surgery or right before the surgery. It's like, those are things that like no one else can do. No one else has that juice. That's his relationship, and that's the relationship you need. And yeah, I'm not mad at that, man. I think, you know, undisputed or not undisputed, but first take going into Pat McAfee's show is a great 1-2 punch, especially for the football season. And I'm excited, man. It's got me back into just watching ESPN rather than a YouTube. You know, like I watch all these little YouTube shows, and now I'm just going straight to ESPN because it's like, oh, you guys are giving me what I need. Really, really interesting. The Stephen A. Joe Budden interview. I learned a lot from that interview, and I think, you know, hopefully Shannon comes out and tells his side of the story. But that's interesting to hear that you know, he was kind of let go from Undisputed. I think, to my earlier point about Stephen not being scared, I think Skip was scared. He saw what was growing before his eyes. You know, Shannon's had his own podcast he developed. He had his own juice. He had his own just swagger. And, you know, that shit could be intimidating to someone who doesn't have that. And, you know, that's a shame because, you know, the same way Steven is giving people chances, Skip has too. I don't think he's been a guy who's ever blocked anyone's blessings in that sense. But this was just a bad decision on his part. And, you know, even just seeing how he's trying to make his way back, he had Keyshawn, who we spoke about earlier, and Shady McCoy, and who was the other guy? Oh,
he had Irvin too.
Yeah, he had Irvin.
They all drowned him out.
It was a terrible show. It was so bad. Well, I also had what's my guy with the long hair? Played for the Seahawks. I hate him.
Oh my God, Richard Sherman.
Richard Sherman. Yeah, had him on there too. It was a terrible show. I think he should have done better with just giving all them an audition, a tryout one by one. But yeah, man, the sports media space is very, very interesting right now, and I'm waiting to see who's going to be like the next young cat to pop their head up. I would love to see a Cameron Hay on there, or Pierce Simpson. You know, I think, you know, Pierce, Cameron, Trayvon Edwards, another BlkPrint alumni, Eddie Bansky, or Bansky. I love what this new media is doing right now. I love hearing the perspective of people who are part of the culture of sports, who, you know, have played in their past, or who are having those conversations online. Like I enjoy those perspectives more than I enjoy the quote unquote professional pundits. So yeah, man, I'm looking to see like who's gonna make that big move into like the new media space and bring one of those guys up. That'd be exciting for me.
Absolutely. And like you had said, from a Pat perspective, those are usually conversations that you would have to wait for on a podcast. For ESPN to now realize, social media is moving a little bit too fast, that we can't do a lot of our traditional shows the way that we used to be able to do that is something that within the next 5 years, we could end up seeing something that could be, you could turn on ESPN and not even know essentially what you're watching, because it could look so much different. And I was trying to think of how you can actually view it, because who knows who ESPN is going to be owned by within the next 5 years. You could have a nice little Apple logo right in the bottom right corner. You never know just yet.
Hey man, I'm hearing Amazon. Keep it real.
Okay.
I literally, there's news reports going out for the last couple of weeks that there's like an Amazon Disney ESPN deal happening. So don't be surprised if it's on Prime Video and on your boxes getting shipped to your door every week.
I would be completely cool with that. Love what Prime Video is able to do, and especially with Twitch 2. Twitch 2 is super, super easy with that. If they were able to implement that and make it a lot easier. Do you usually watch a lot of the Thursday Night Football that they do? Is that exclusively through Prime Video?
Yeah, it's all of it's through Prime Video. All of it. Quick plug right now. This week, we're bringing back Amazon Music Live, which is like our live performance series after Thursday Night Football. First week is Ed Sheeran. Should be great. Right after the game, going right into the game. Lil Durk is April 2nd. That should be a good one too. Fade, the Colombian artist, is in between that. So no, like I think, like you said, Prime Video is figuring out sports slowly but surely. And once they get it all the way dialed in, everyone better look out. Like between Twitch, between Prime Video on your TV, on your phone, they're dialed in. They're dialed in. I started watching the game last week, and as I was opening the game, they had like a QR code for like a discount on like merch online. Yeah. Like, so it's just like little things like that just make it a more viable place.
One company, unfortunately, that had to figure out sports for the past couple of days, HBO Max or Max, depending on if you'd like to respect the new name. Had to figure out some tough things for a lot of people that are on the Twitter timeline. I'm not going to respect it and say the X timeline. I'm sorry, Elon. I'm just going to say Twitter timeline. Winning Time. Huge show, or at least we thought it was, on HBO Max, is now canceled after 2 seasons. Timeline was not happy. I am not happy, but I think a lot of people that have been, a little bit visible on what is going on with Winning Time, and especially like we had said earlier, referencing the writer's strike, that things were looking a little bit bleak for the show. And I believe I'm not sure if it was the show writer or one of the head writers of Winning Time ended up saying, hey, glad that you guys are all enjoying it, but please keep watching. We are in risk of losing the show and there not being a season 3. And lo and behold, we do not have a season 3. The show ended on Sunday night with the series finale.
Yeah, man, I'm going to keep it real. Born and bred Laker fan all my life. Parents were Laker fans. Dad passed on the Magic fandom to me. Grew up seeing Magic just around the city, owning everything, Starbucks, TGI Fridays, anything in between. I watched 2 episodes. It was like, this show is not good.
You couldn't do it?
I couldn't do it, man. And everyone's like, yo, how are you not watching it? I'm going to try to tap back in now that it's over. I think that's terrible of me. But yeah, it wasn't a good show to me. And it's like, I don't know if it's because it's like a period piece and like, I saw a lot of the feedback from Jerry West and people who actually lived it, and they were like, it's not accurate, and that
they hated it,
and that shit means a lot. But yeah, I just didn't enjoy the show, and I think a show like that is probably mad expensive. I know it's mad expensive. I see some of the BTS stuff, and they had like a cameraman on roller skates jumping off a ramp. I was like, this shit is crazy. Hey, honestly, they need to put out a BTS documentary on that shit, because the way they were shooting them scenes, I was like, damn, that is some intense shit. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that shit was mad expensive. It's a period piece, so you got to get all the clothing and all that shit together. And it just wasn't hitting, man. Like, to me, it just wasn't really like that compelling. And that's a compelling ass story, I think. If you're going to take liberties like as you did, then y'all need to go full throttle and really be showing the dark, seedy underworld of a basketball franchise. But they kind of glossed it over, made it a little too comedic at some points, for what I saw at least. And I wasn't dialed in, man. So sad to see it go. I expected it, especially coming into the new season in the middle of a strike where no one could promote it, and you couldn't really get the actors and team around it to really be out there and like watch this show. Yeah, man. And the ratings were terrible. For all the outcry on Twitter, you guys weren't watching it. Like, just keep it real. So sad to see it go, as all shows. But man, you got to really support these shows. You just can't tweet about it.
Yeah, I can tell that. Your response was a little bit similar to my dad's response. He hates the Office style, look off into the do a little wink and talk to the scene. He does not like that type of thing. So as you brought up the fact that this was just a little bit too comedic and a little bit too entertaining, he also wanted something that was a little bit more of a documentary than it was a entertainment piece. We ended up seeing the responses from Magic that said he fucking hates it. Kareem actually wrote a letter as to why he doesn't like it and fully explained as to why some of these things just aren't true. But that's why they had to, start off a lot of these episodes and end a lot of these episodes with, this is literally a puff piece. Well, not necessarily a puff piece, but it is an entertainment piece where not all of this is fully true, but they'll have scenes that specifically, stop and say, yep, this actually happened. And I think within season 2, they did a really good job of, portraying a lot of those moments. I think one of the better moments of the season ended up being when they just realized that for the most part, they have to get rid of Paul Westhead. Paul Westhead and Magic were butting heads way too much. And I think even portraying that within this season was really good, because I think from an NBA perspective, a lot of the older fans are just like, well, this new season, everybody choosing whatever the fuck they want to do is so disgusting. And it all started with LeBron James, and then it started with Kevin Durant, and then Kawhi Leonard is choosing when he wants to play, and so on and so forth. When in actuality, in 1981 and 1982, you have one of the hugest stars, if not the hugest star in the NBA in the 1980s, somebody that is credited for saving the NBA specifically in Magic Johnson, beefing extremely heavy with his head coach. And this is after they won an NBA championship. Then they end up getting eliminated in the first round. And I think Winning Time did a really good job of having John C. Reilly, who did a really good Dr. Buss, really good Dr. Buss. So, okay, we got to get rid of you. It's now Pat Riley's time. And they literally winged it at the press conference with him, Pat, Jerry West. I think that's one of the better moments. And, you know, I've seen Quincy Isaiah's Twitter as of recent. He retweeted somebody sending him a little bit of hug and support. I can't really see Quincy Isaiah without unseeing Magic Johnson now. He did a really good job. A lot of the people that they had set within the cast felt really good. Pat Riley was a great Pat Riley. Jeannie Buss specifically gave her praise and her flowers to John C. Reilly because she said, despite how everybody felt about the show, she really misses her dad, and they did such a good job of not only portraying Dr. Buss, but also staying true to his wardrobe and using his actual tailor and so on and so forth. Like, the details towards that were really good. But now we see a lot of those details were, one, extremely fucking expensive, and two, not enough to be able to produce season 3. So as much as it is really tough for everybody that's on the timeline, it's an unfortunate lesson that for most times Twitter's in real life. And as much as you can enjoy a lot of your fans, a lot of your friends specifically, enjoying a show and everybody's hashtagging and laughing and having such a great time, tough decisions need to be made. And Winning Time, unfortunately, ends up being one of the shows that I guess it's tough to try to say have its legs cut from underneath it, because from a Laker fan's perspective, I would assume you wanted to see so much more of that. Like, the season is literally ending on the 1984 Celtics championship, the entire TD Garden rushing the floor, huge 7-game series between them. And it's like, man, you're ending Winning Time on a Celtics title. That fucking sucks. So people wanted to see the 85 title. People wanted to see the back-to-back. People wanted to see something that they teased in season 1, the literal first episode of Magic getting HIV. People wanted to see that. And then I don't think that it would have went as far as having a young Shaq and a young Kobe and start portraying who's going to play Kobe, who's going to play Shaq. I don't think that they really had that portion of the show planned as of just yet, but I'm sure people would have loved to see it. But unfortunately, you know, unless some other company or place ends up taking it and buying it, we're not going to be able to see it. So it's a tough lesson.
No, it's tough, man. I think, you know, these type of shows, and not even these type of shows, these type of moments you want to see in show form. I think all the things you just listed out, up to the Kobe and Shaq shit, like, I want to see that. I want to see that story. I think just to, you know, your father's point and a ton of other people, I just want like a real dramatic version of that rather than like this comedic Office style, mockumentary style that they went for. I think it just kind of missed the mark a little bit. But, you know what I will say, the kid that played Magic absolutely looks like Magic. It kind of looks like me too. So I probably will check it out at some point. But yeah, man, sad to see it go. I think any show in this climate, just during this strike, that's, you know, getting cut from underneath it, you can't help but wonder, would it be picked up if there wasn't a strike going on? And I just chalk it up to just bad timing and just, you know, just a terrible time in the creative Hollywood space at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've seen they was pile driving the shit out of, who was it, Drew Barrymore in the past couple of days. Saying she's about to come. She was about to bring her talk show back, and she was like, "Guys, I don't know. I got to throw my hands up. I don't know what we can do with this strike. I mean, I'm just gonna come back." And they were like, "What the fuck?" And then she was just like, "All right. I'm gonna stop the talk show." Yeah,
I mean, hopefully the strike doesn't last any longer. We need some new content. Like, we're running out of shit to watch. All these little documentaries ain't really hitting. It's a barren space. I was just talking to someone the other day, and they're like, "When do you think it's going to end?" I'm like, "Oh, it's just about to end right before the holidays, because they want people right back shooting shit right after the holidays." Like, I can't see this going into the top of the year. We need content. We just need things to watch, and like, I think they're running out of stuff, and like, things aren't getting the best promotion. They're not getting the best runway to succeed. And a little bit of I think is a little bit of this is strategy on the studio's part. I think there's a lot of shit that they paid for that they're like, how can we not give this the best chance possible? But I also think at some point that's going to run out, and they got to start getting that advertising money, and you're not going to get it with 90 Day Fiance.
Yeah, absolutely not. But we're at the hour mark. One last thing before, as you bring up TV, one last thing before we get out here for the week. VMAs. How'd you feel about them?
Man, I didn't watch them. I was actually like, I'm not. I straight up didn't watch them. One thing I did want to get into, and maybe we say VMAs for Patreon. We didn't get into Offset. Offset's having the greatest week ever. Like, this dude did the 24-hour stream with Kai, which was amazing. Like, it reminded me of my childhood. Like, he came over with his PS5, 7 controllers, dumped it on the floor. So, like, we about to have a real sleepover. And they had a real sleepover. They brought out blow-up bids. And they, like, that shit just was wholesome, man. Like, Offset, shout out to him and his rollout. Definitely proving himself as the better Amigo. It's just cool to see, man. I think a lot of artists take themselves too serious, and he does a good job at not doing that. He was dancing with Kai. They're playing video games, confronting fears of snakes and shit. It was just cool. It was just cool, man. I think a lot of artists don't have the charisma to even lean into things like that. And a lot of their personality is just violence and drugs and being just too cool for school. And it was cool to see him, lean into it a little bit more than usual. I mean, he even fell out of his chair one time. It's like,
hit the gas.
Yeah, it's like any other artist would have made that look so whack, and he made that look so cool, and just being like, oh shit, like Offset's like one of us. So yeah, shout out to him. Then from there, he was at the VMAs. Then for the VMAs, he was at the VMAs was amazing too. Hold on, let me not even skip over VMAs. Amazing outfit by Offset, supporting his wife, front row clapping it up like a soccer mom. This shit was amazing.
How you should be.
Like, yeah, shit was crazy. And then to go from there to Colorado and be at the pep rally with Coach Prime, then be on the sideline for the game, and really, like, this dude was playing ping pong with everybody. Played ping pong with Master P, Key Glock, fucking whoever else was out there. He's passing out the Denim Tears collab that you mentioned after the game. He's passing that out to the players. Denim Tears collab is a great idea, poor execution. I seen someone at the time, I'm not even going to take a joke, but someone said it looked like hot Cheeto rings. And I agree.
I thought it would be like a way to dress up the how they could make it like some type of special way. I wanted to take something that's as deep as cotton reefs and make them beautiful and say that there's beauty in the struggle and some shit like that. It wasn't like that type of explanation.
Oh no, I mean, for me it just looked like he took a hyped item at the moment and put his twist on it, and it's a part of his bundle, so it's a good little bundle drop to get going. I was excited, man. I just seeing all of this together. I'm like, y'all put some real thought into this rollout. I think we've been lacking in the rollout department. There hasn't been many artists who have given us, like, Travis did it, of course. I think with Utopia and the briefcase that went into the bundles, and Travis hasn't even dropped any videos yet.
Outside of the one that he had on Apple Music, where he was out at
the movie. That's the movie.
Though,
right?
Yeah. So yeah, Circus Maximus. Yeah, he put that on Apple Music, but outside of that, that's it.
No videos yet. Offset dropped a video. It's a riot in the video. He fucking Kai's not in the video. That rollout was dope. That little videos they had. Even the video before that, where they did the Baby Boy we talked about. I don't know, man. I think Offset's just doing it right. And shout out to his label. Shout out to the team around him. They're building a great story, and the music is sounding good. I'm excited to hear the album in full. I've heard pieces of it. It's a good time for him. I think this is like a real transitional phase where he's like kind of losing the QC Migos kind of like cloak that was over him. And I'm excited to just see, what the next stage of his career is like. I think it all started at Rolling Loud for me personally, seeing him perform up there solo and like having the dancers and having the pyrotechnics and having his wife come out and perform 2 songs with him. It was like, okay. And he's been on this Michael Jackson thing. So he like
he had
the whole MJ fit at Rolling Loud. And then the video, he had the MJ fitting there, and it's like, yo, like he's really leaning into like, yo, this is an era for me. I'm creating an era, and a lot of artists don't do that, or a lot of artists don't think that through. But the superstars do. The Weeknd, Travis Scott, Drake does it to a certain degree. Kanye does it for sure. J. Cole does it even without even changing up his look so much. It's just like, yo, this is this moment. So yeah, man, I think this is the beginning of a great solo career that might eclipse the group efforts, honestly.
That is true. Father of Four ended up getting a lot of praise from, I think, a lot of Migos fans that, you know, when they were on their solo moment with The Last Rocket and with, what was Quavo's first one, Quavius Maximus? Father of Four ended up being one that I really liked a whole lot. And seeing how Set It Off is going to go, this could end up being something that is amazing for Offset. Well, we're definitely going to end up seeing that within the month of October. Before then, you'll be able to enjoy us this week again on BlkPrint Radio, live on AMP, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. You will see the details towards that on our socials. You can always follow us at the BlkPrint Pod on Instagram. And of course, all of us separately on Twitter as well. Of course, Josh Pease, OG Johnny 5. You'll be able to see everything that he has been enjoying from his Japan trip. He's been posting a couple of photos and moments from that. You can see that on his Twitter. And of course, myself at My Man MC. All three of us will have details on what is going on and what we are releasing for this week here on the BlkPrint. But you will hear from us again live on AMP this Wednesday for another episode of BlkPrint Radio. B-sides, of course, will drop for our patrons. By the time that everybody is hearing this on Wednesday, we'll have a new episode of B-sides for everybody on Thursday. And of course, if you end up missing BlkPrint Radio this week, you will always have the opportunity to listen to our replays and our previews at the end of the week on Fridays. But until then, you will hear from us on episode 46 within 2 weeks. Until then, for Josh Pease, I am MC, and we will see you then. Peace.